I believe Justin Herbert is a top 6 quarterback in the NFL. He did not look good in the second half against the Jaguars. That had a lot to do with coaching. In the first half, Justin Herbert was dominating. And in the second half of last season, Justin Herbert was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Justin Herbert, if you look at his roster over the last couple of years, one, he plays injured. This guy goes out there week in and week out, hurt ankle, hurt toe, turf toe, elbow problems, wrist problems, tape it up, tape it up, tape it up, tape it up. He goes out there and he puts on a show. And if you look at his roster over the last couple of years and the injuries that the LA Chargers have been dealing with, you can only say why the Chargers are one of those teams that you expect to make the playoffs every single year is because of Justin Herbert. And you look at guys like Austin Eckler, who's been a big blanket for him. He didn't get extension this offseason. You added a guy like Quentin Johnston in the offseason in the draft. Keenan Allen hasn't stayed healthy. Mike Williams hasn't stayed healthy. This defense, let's be honest, has not been healthy. The offensive line over the last 2 years, including their best offensive lineman, as he was one of the best rookie offensive linemen we've seen come out of the draft in a very long time. And Slater get hurt last year and missed the full season and absolutely hurt that franchise growth. Khalil Mack, they made the move in the offseason last year to bring in Khalil Mack, and you expected him to play a full season. The guy couldn't play a full season. That defense, Joey Bosa, can never stay healthy. Derwin James can never stay healthy. You have all these all-pro type of style of players on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, and they can't stay healthy. But the one player that goes in and week out and has been everything for that organization is Justin Herbert. This organization has been craving that next quarterback that was going to take over for Phillip Rivers. And before Phillip Rivers, it was Drew Brees. They've always had good quarterbacks, really, since the franchise really became one of the more interesting AFC franchises that we've seen over the last couple of years. We all know about the franchise woes in the playoffs, as they are honestly not a franchise that shows up week in and week out in the playoffs. A couple of years ago, they had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The coach was loved by everybody, including every single analyst. And what happens? They lose against a New England Patriots team. Why? Because they had to fly east. This is an organization, when they travel, when they go from the west to the east, it never works out. But again, this is a franchise that now has a quarterback that you can depend on, has a quarterback that'll go out there week in and week out, show up, put up the numbers, and give you a chance to win. And that's all you need from the quarterback position.
And a lot of records, too. A lot of rookie records his first year. Ended up winning Rookie of the Year because of that. And like you were saying before, the stat of him and Peyton Manning being the only quarterbacks to have 25 touchdown passes in his first 3 years. That's a pretty steady mark to look at, too. And I always mock them for being the least clutch team in football, but Herbert is not the reason why. Herbert's fourth quarter numbers in his career are very good, and so are Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams...
Not in the playoffs.
Not in the playoffs, but again, that so far is a one-game sample size because they haven't made the playoffs much because they have their crumblesome losses in the regular season.
Until he proves himself in the playoffs, people are going to obviously use that against him.
Sure. And again, it's a one-game sample for the time being, and you're right. I think the coaching had the most to do with it, too. Hence, they got rid of their offensive coordinator. They brought in the great Kellen Moore, for all you Cowboys fans out there that definitely loved him. And like you were saying, like they didn't run the ball enough in the second half. Eckler had, I think, 6 total touches the whole game.
I think the Beeve obviously was very upset when they lost their offensive coordinator.
Really? Mm-hmm. It seems like every Cowboys fan hated Kellen Moore, but I guess the Beeve is one of the rare ones.
He was never a good quarterback in the NFL. No. And honestly, as much as everybody, and Jeff, with Kellen Moore, how many times did we hear Jeff stick up for Kellen Moore? That he blamed Dak Prescott. It wasn't Kellen Moore's play calling. It was Dak Prescott, which I honestly can go back and forth and argue with him about that.